If you want to be winning Forza Horizon 5 online races and setting competitive times in Rivals leaderboards, it is important you know what the best car is depending on the class limit. In this video, we'll be showing you the best car overall for each class of road racing in Forza Horizon 5 2023 edition. Let's get into it. So let's begin with D class, where the best car is the Datsun 510. It is very good all round and it is fairly easy to drive, unlike a lot of other fairly similarly good D-class cars. It is a little bit understeery, like most lower class cars are when you all-wheel drive swap them, but at the low speeds of D-class, it is all manageable. For C-class, the best car is easily the Reliant Supervan with loads of power, but it is about as stable as a table with one leg, so you'd do well to finish a race without binning it. So if you're looking for a more stable car that's easier to drive, I recommend this thing, the Honda CRX Mugen. Yes, it does suffer a bit from understeer, and it feels a bit weird to drive, but it is still far more stable and predictable than the Reliant Supervan. Now moving on to B class, the Honda Civic Type R from 1997 in front-wheel drive is the best car overall. It is fairly easy to drive, and it's not really bad at any track. It is very nimble in the corners, and it has very good brakes with my tune. However, its straight line speed is perhaps lacking a bit, so don't expect this to be the best car at any track that features particularly long straights. For those tracks you need some rear-wheel drive power build car. Now moving on to A class, we have the Hot Wheels Bone Shaker. This thing is a super OP A class all-rounder, and it's decent at almost every road racing track, even though it's often not the most perfect car for each particular track. It suffers quite a bit from understeer, as you'd expect for something that has front tyres as thin as this. And in general, it isn't really that fun to drive, but it's definitely the best overall. However, you may want to avoid using this thing, as it has kind of become a bit of a symbol of players who overuse the meta cars. So if you want to use something different, I recommend using the Nissan Skyline GTR V-Spec from 1997 as a good alternative. It's still a fairly good all-rounder, and it doesn't suffer from understeer anything like as much as the Bone Shaker, so it's much nicer to drive. The 2005 Ford GT is all-round the best car for S1 class road racing. S1 class is quite a diverse class, so there is quite a few different cars that are very good in it, and at some tracks you may find that the Jaguar XJR15 in rear-wheel drive is a bit better, but that's a very tricky car to drive. As for the Ford GT, it's naturally very understeery when it's all-wheel drive swapped, even with extensive tuning. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but it is definitely the best for S1 class, and with it there won't be any tracks that don't suit the car at all. For S2 class, both the Mosler MT900S and the Hot Wheels Bad to the Blade are more or less equally good, yet they are both good in completely different ways. So let's start off with the Mosler. This thing is best in rear-wheel drive configurations, so you can get that extra power and get better top speed. Therefore, it's super meta for the high-speed road racing tracks with lots of long straights. And it also has pretty good grip in the high-speed corners. However, being rear-wheel drive means its low-speed traction off the line and out of slower corners isn't so good. However, the Hot Wheels Bad to the Blade is the complete opposite. This is best in all-wheel drive configuration, and it's the best S2 class car for the tighter, twistier, high grip tracks. Its grip is pretty phenomenal, and the footage you can see right now is from a race where I was the only one in the Bad to the Blade, so I absolutely dominated. Now moving on to X class, which doesn't really exist for online racing or Rivals, but it can still come in handy to have the best X class car, which is the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento Forza edition. This thing has unreal amounts of grip, and its acceleration and speed is pretty impressive too. It feels super unrealistic to drive because it can carry just such a ridiculous amount of speed through the corners, but that's ultimately why it's the best for X class. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for plenty more Forza Horizon 5 content, and of course I'll see you in the next video.